Now, even though we've rotated this swirl around to 90 degrees, it's still actually back to front. We want to flip it over here so that this item is essentially coming off the tail of the A there, and the rest of it will curl around and come underneath and form our finished emblem. So we need to perform a flip function. If we go to the transform panel on the left-hand side, you can see that on the flyout menu here, we do have access to flip horizontal and flip vertical. If you are going to apply one of those, do bear in mind the anchor point that you currently have selected over here. It's important. I mean, it's not really going to mess anything up, but if you have got this roughly positioned and you're trying to simply flip it around its center point, you do need to make sure that you choose the center point there before you apply it. Now, naturally, there is also a tool to do this, which is a little bit more interactive because, once more, we can choose a different anchor point. So I'll close that down, come over to the rotate tool, click and hold on it, and you'll see that the reflect tool is also available. And if you wanted to, you could apply the tear off function there and just pull this out so you have access to both of them. So if we select reflect, it's the same as we had with the rotation tool. We get an anchor point by default, which is in the center. If we hold down our option key or alt key on the PC, we can position this cursor wherever we need and click to bring up the dialog box that will allow us to choose which axis we're reflecting on. Now, this is a nice new feature as well. Very simple. The smallest things amuse me. We now have graphics that show us the axis across which we're going to reflect. So it used to just say horizontal and vertical. Didn't really mean much, but at least now you can get a visual sense of what's happening. So what we want to do is a vertical, and we can see it underneath as long as you have preview turned on, is reflecting to exactly the right position. So that's all we need to do there. Go ahead and click OK. As always, hit the V key to go back to your main selection tool. Now what we want to do is move this into alignment with our logo up here. Now, as we've worked through this, you've noticed that we've always got our smart guides, and they are absolutely wonderful, but there are times when you just want to turn them off so you can nudge things and move things around without everything snapping into place. Well, your keyboard shortcut for that is Command U or Control U on the PC. Now, if we pick this up and move it around, you'll see there's no interaction with those guides. So definitely a keyboard shortcut worth remembering. Now, in order to position this, what I'm going to do is go into outline mode and then zoom up over onto the tail there. And then we can simply pick this up and put it in whatever position you really feel is correct. But I'm going to overlap those two and make sure that they look like they align on the side. And then we can always switch back to preview mode and check exactly how that looks. So it's up to you how precise you want to be there, but I think honestly that looks about right. Now, to be safe, what we should do is then select both of these items together, because remember they are separate graphics, and we'll do Command G or Control G on the PC to group these together. So that's now one graphic item. Remember, if you want to go in and edit, you can always go into isolation mode. All right. So now let's copy this into memory, and we'll switch back over to our print campaign document. And what we'll do actually at this point is press the F key. Let's go full screen here so we have more room to play with. Now, our logo is still open in its file underneath this one. If you want, you can go back to that document, save it for future, or just close it without saving. It's up to you, but we have it copied into memory. What we are going to do now is create a new layer on which all our logos will exist. So over in the layers panel, we can even expand this down because we're starting to build up quite a collection of layers here. We're just going to bring up our keyboard shortcut to bring up a brand new layer, and we'll call this one logos. All right. Go ahead and click OK. And really the logo should probably appear on top of everything. So let's take this layer and drag it all the way up to the top of the layers panel. Okay, so this is essentially changing our stacking order. This is like bring to front, but so much better. It takes it all the way to the front of all the elements in our document. Okay, deselect anything that you've got highlighted. Let's click on our logos layer and then simply paste in the logo that we just copied.